Okay, looking at the agenda, we have plenty to get accomplished today. We have 5 outcomes. I'm going to read through them so we all know what we're up against, and then we can start tackling. So outcome number 1, we will look at the performance tasks to see what students will need to be able to do at the end of the unit. We will have a list of texts we will use for the unit. We want to look at anchor charts that we will use for this unit. We also want to look at and choose graphic organizers, and also the 3 main anchor lessons for the unit. We want to include text structure, text features, domain-specific vocabulary, and make sure that we have all the materials that we need for these lessons. Okay, so let's bring our attention back to outcome number 1. Let's look at the performance task and focus on what the scholars will need to be able to do at the end of this unit.
They're going to choose a text structure and make a poster.
Right, so we
Yes.
have here essential questions, the learning outcomes are here, and that last section at the bottom is what they're expected to create. So we can talk about if we want to assign a particular text to them, or maybe
So they're all
within small
represented.
groups. We might want to modify them or select them by need or level there.
I think, yeah, that's a good idea, assigning them, because then they'll all be covered in the posters, and then you can select specific ones, like you said, for specific groups.
We should also look at the text that we have available to pick what subjects we're going to them use. Because without the text to support, it's going to be hard for them to do.
Well, that's why I went through a lot of books that I had in my library, and I just kind of perused them. And I wrote little sticky notes, like this
Okay.
is description, this is sequencing, this is compare and contrast. And I just kind of question and answer, and keeping in mind who your
Right.
students are, and looking at, who should probably work with what, time sequencing. So I kind of labeled that, and I gave everybody also a copy of the mentor text that we have in the Rigby books.
Okay.
All right, and that's all broken down by question and answer, compare and contrast, description,
Right.
chronological order, problem, solution, cause and effect. So that's a list of books that we have there too. And I do have a sheet that has all the levels, so we can get the levels in.
is great.
Yeah, I think this is going to be useful and beneficial to us. This one
Great
written was
resource.
more general, but I feel like this will target, like you said, Sheila, the kids in front of us and their needs. So this will be,
More specific.
yep,
More
and we can
specific.
group and assign.
Now you can accommodate appropriately for the levels here.
And we also have,
Sorry, in the basket, in the buckets over there are different level texts that you can use for students. And then the National Geographic
Right.
come at 2 different reading levels.
Right.
And then I also brought this for Jessica, toolkit for K to 2.
Oh, that'll be
Oh,
good.
okay.
That
Yeah.
will be helpful to
Okay,
use
right.
with you guys.
All right.
I also went through that toolkit book, the ones that have the articles.
Right.
And I
Right.
made a list of articles by text structure as
Okay.
well. So those are, we have
I
a
want to
lot of those
point out
available.
too that even if we use one of these within small group, the students will still be able to use it for the performance task because now they're taking the structure that we taught them and went through and they're recreating it into a different one.
Right.
So they'll still be able to use a text that's familiar to them and complete the task. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're, thinking about groups and assigning
Right.
Okay,
who needs what.
right. That's good.
All right, so are we all clear with the performance task then? And assigning text
Yeah.
per levels?
So your essential questions are here, so you can have these posted throughout the unit.
Right.
Yep, yep. It'll be a nice launch, get the discussion going and you can refer to them as we go on. And then hopefully by the time we're here, they'll have a good understanding of these.
And I'm wondering if we can steer them while they're during the unit into what their interests are, so they have that.
Okay?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so
Right.
we say, okay, if
Right.
they're interested in animals, let's steer them towards those animal books, so they have a
Okay.
wide range of resources.
So by the time they
to-
get to performance tasks, they're exposed to everything
Right.
that'll be good.
And they have an investment. And-
Right.
Okay.
All right, so we are going to assign.
Probably the structure, right, to specific groups. I think some groups will do better, and thinking of, keep in mind, who we have,
Mm-hmm.
what they'll have success with, be able to demonstrate. Yeah.
Do you want me to do up all the essential questions for everyone?
I think we have them in here.
But I mean for
But type-
posting.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
Sure.
great if you could email that to
Okay.
us.
If you don't mind, right? That would be an easy printout.
Posting.
Okay, not those.
Okay, so everybody comfortable with the first outcome?
Yep.
When we added time to our schedule in year one, planning time became a significant focus. As a coach, I began supporting planning time and literacy by ensuring that each meeting had a supporting structure including roles, an agenda, and next steps. Since we were new at these structures, I often took the lead in these meetings. Over time, teachers became more confident in the processes and appreciated the focus and outcomes of our meetings. In year two of expanded learning time, increasing teacher leadership and ensuring that our meetings are more action and product-based became our focus. To reach these goals, my role in planning time shifted. During collaborative lesson planning meetings, I am a member of the team, not the leader. All members of the team take on a role. Teachers who lead the meeting have taken the lead in a content area. In my coaching role, I serve as a resource for teachers, provide content knowledge, handle logistics, and answer or find answers to questions that come up. We are all active participants in order to produce meetings that are action or product-based. In order to deepen our understanding of the content and support teacher leadership, we had a shift from coach-led meetings to teacher-led meetings. The teachers are the experts on their students. They have the data and use that data to inform their planning in order to maximize learning.
Next, we have looking at anchor charts that we want to use within the unit. And so, Jen, I noticed that
pulled
you
my
pulled
three, yep.
some out.
Can you take a picture of that and then?
And I'll email them and attach them with the notes. Jen, will you take a picture of that? I want to clarify this one. This one I need to update because we now refer to it as informational.
Yeah.
But this one is interactive.
Oh,
It's a little bit of Spark
Okay.
setup, but it's I do know what they're doing each year. So there's a
Okay.
definition and then an example right from a text.
Okay, great.
Each of those features. And then there's the visual of the text
Right.
structure and the 5 we decided on focusing.
I think it's a nice use of scaffolding the instruction because I like the visual that we can do day by day when we introduce it. And then again, this middle charted one, they can see that, you know, this is the one we use in a small group, and now you have to take that same topic and rework it into another one, and they have that example to going back to the task performance too. So I think that having, you know, both of them will be a good idea in all of the classrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one in the middle.
There's a lot of detail, but there's everything at once on there.
Right, that's good.
And the example stays on the
just-
same topic.
Yeah,
So
Right,
how
right, that's
ice cream, a
important.
simple
Right.
Right.
topic like ice cream can
That's
be a
important.
description, compare, contrast.
Yep.
Right, so I'll email
I like that.
these
Which,
pictures with the notes.
which is
Okay.
great because they're using one text structure
Mhm.
from a book and
Right.
they're using the same book to transfer.
Right,
Mhm.
I like that.
Okay, so we'll all get copies of those through email.
Yep.
And we can work those in and use them through the unit as they fall.
Other than anchor charge, I think we had a note with a bookmark that they can keep with them during the independent reading, so that
Okay.
way they're anchored
Right,
to, instead, depending on where they are for independent reading,
Okay.
we can look at a resource for that, so they have all of it right in front of them when they're on their own.
Our 3 main anchor lessons for the unit.
Yeah, we gotta.
So we had
Focus on
put
each
down
of
here that we want to really focus text structure, text features, and this domain-specific vocabulary.
That
So-
structure, last year we did 2 days.
All
Do you
right.
think we need to spread it out?
Those home-
I
And
do.
more than 2 days?
Right.
Because so
Even
they can
with,
grasp each one?
yeah,
And see examples of each one, more examples than just one or two,
Right.
so that they can easily identify what they would be.
And I even feel like if we take a day to go through each one, we can almost use one of these graphic organizers, anchor
Charts.
charts as a discussion point and use that as a focus lesson.
Right.
Compare and contrast. What do you notice about this?
And I don't know if we have to, maybe we can do one text feature lesson, instead of doing it twice,
Mm-hmm.
just do, that will knock one of the lessons out, but then we can do text structure more, and just talk about the text features every single day, obviously
Yeah,
leave it
right,
in,
okay. As
and
they
you don't
come
need a
up.
whole separate day on that.
Okay.
Right, and I'm thinking that third grade, Jen, maybe you could speak to this, third grade I think
Yeah.
does a lot with text features, so they should have a good background.
Yeah,
a
we
good
should just
base.
keep talking about it.
But we need
They
to focus
do.
on how the author wanted them to be used.
Right.
Right.
Not if
Right.
they can
Right.
Not so
identify and
much of-
recognize.
Right.
No.
Right, not,
Right.
this is a
To
map,
understand
this
it.
is a
Right.
caption, but
No,
what
no.
is the purpose?
Right,
Right.
And so, well,
And why
that-
is it there?
Exactly,
Right.
and that ties into, if you're talking compare and contrast, why did the author set it up, compare and contrast, and why did he use these text features?
Right.
Just put that right in,
right,
because that's, that's the whole point of it, so that they can do that poster at the end and they'll completely understand. So if we take out one text feature day,
Yep.
that's like lesson 4,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Then we'll have an extra day, we can do text structure, should we try to do one text structure a day? I think 2 a day is kinda mushing them. I don't know.
So we're
Let's look at
taking
the
out
rest-
lesson 5, correct?
How
Because
many do we
lesson
have,
4
7?
is your first text feature.
I thought that was lesson 3.
lesson 3.
Interpretation. Am I looking?
Day
at the
1, day 2.
wrong- I know,
But are
So
we
we're
narrowing
looking
it
at
down to
lesson,
what's
I
on the
think
lesson
we're
chart?
looking
number,
at
yeah,
lesson
lesson.
1, lesson 2, lesson 3.
but, oh,
So like
Gotcha,
she's saying
okay.
lesson 4, take it.
all right.
So how many of these we have?
Text structure, we have 2 right now?
2 days.
2, that will give 3.
But how many of the structures?
5.
This
So
is
I don't know,
7.
what do we wanna do? There's 5 text
I mean,
structures we wanna cover.
And how should they go together? Because some of them are very similar, and it's
Right.
almost a debate.
Well, we have
for
7
us.
listed.
So which should go together in explaining the differences?
Description? Right, description.
So let's look at the rest of the unit and see like,
Alright,
you know what I'm saying, like is there something that within the rest of the unit that we can kind of
Well, sequences are in here.
Well,
combine or like,
I do remember, so cause and effect and problem solution.
Enumeration.
This is where we continually have this ongoing discussion within our group, is that we find that they are so similar, but the cause many times is the problem, and the solution is it's the positive result of it, where the effect sometimes can be seen as a negative result. So I feel like if we're going to merge any of the two, maybe we want to do them, unless you think
I
We
think
wanna
that'd be
keep
good. We
them
need to find
separate
2
on
solid texts to support the difference.
I almost feel like that could be a T-chart, problem, solution, cause and effect,
okay.
text, and then examples, like evidence. So kids can really see the difference.
because cause and effect, yeah, say we have something volcanoes, we could do cause and effect for that. The problem solution could be the water, the water.
The environment.
environment. And then they'll see a
Pollution.
clear difference.
Yep. Right, that's it. They need a clear difference to see that, because even looking at these 2 ice cream examples, they can be similar. So we do need a clear difference, just like you said, pollution is a
Right.
a problem solution.
No.
Alright, so do we wanna do one a day?
Cause and effect.
That's what
I
One a
know.
day?
we gotta
Right.
nail it down.
Because in it we'll be talking about main idea, we'll be talking
I
about the
think you
text
need to do
features.
one a day.
What?
I think you need to do one a day.
If it's an anchor,
If you have enough.
it's an anchor lesson.
You-
It's a
right,
big standard. It's a big standard.
Yeah.
So
Jen, I actually think that pollution is a great example to use for
Yeah.
problem, solution, and cause and effect. Because
But I would use it for one, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I mean,
But you
no,
could
yeah, but you
use
wanna
it
show-
for both.
right, you want to show them that, okay, well, there's what's the solution to the problem?
Right.
But then, what's the
What are the
effect?
causes?
What are the causes?
and it is cause and
Okay.
effect, right.
Right.
I'm just saying for them to be able to distinguish, I think if we use 2 different texts, and then maybe towards the end, we can do
Right.
that.
bringing
Okay.
that
To the
in.
same
Right.
text.
The effect. This is the effect of pollution, but here's the solution.
right,
Mhm.
right.
So how do we want to maneuver that within our lessons?
Right.
Well, we would
Mine
have to
That might be
shift
a
some
lesson
of
you
these
wanna
lessons.
add.
Okay.
Right, so
Right.
that's what we're trying to see. We'll look towards the end.
Yeah,
Those
those.
reading, we
yeah.
can
Right,
take
we
those
took
out.
those
Right, because
out.
we have
Now
a
that
whole
that's in
block
our
of that
schedule.
now.
Right, it
Take
wasn't
those
last
2
year.
out.
Okay.
What 2 are we taking
The
out?
last
The
two.
close reading.
Yes, lesson 29 and 30.
And 30.
So there's 2 days there.
And what
And you
about,
took one out here, so that's
right.
3.
So we gave ourselves 3 more days, so now we have 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
we could take 1 a day.
Right,
Okay.
So if everything shifts, see where it says lesson 4?
yeah.
That should be, what should we cover, which structure should we cover then? Obviously discuss first how there are different text structures, and then we'll start with, probably description's the easiest one.
Mm.
Looking at 2, like merging the 2, that we wanna have them, look at 2 articles on the same,
Yes.
Topic.
but maybe in
Topic.
different structures and, yeah.
Yeah, that came up last year, and it hit
Yeah.
us. Katie and I did an ANET reteach, and I did bring it, and our lessons attached to it. This came after we formalized the unit.
Right.
And there are 2 topics, there are 2 different text structures here and how to merge them, and merge your understanding on one. If you want to take a look at this. Because it's not a master's
Right.
data, but it definitely
Okay.
came up, and we've already seen it this year.
The integration of information
Right.
from
Yep.
2 separate
Yes.
sources.
So,
4.9.
yeah,
From 2 sources.
so if we look for things at the next,
Okay, to
LME.
tighten that up a little bit.
we'll bring those things and then we can decide on 2 articles we'll use, whatever, for a couple of lessons in that.
Okay.
Right.
Could be a next step.
And then what's our pre-test for this one? Because we're going to be in post.
Salmon.
I think we decided, we talked about salmon yesterday. I have a copy for everyone along with some of the exemplars,
Okay, I like having those.
so that the children can see,
Good for that.
where their writing is and how to improve it. So I made a copy for everybody here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll have this copied and back to you
Thank you.
before we leave for Christmas
Thanks.
break.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
We
so
wanted
what-
to just look at the open response though, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It is on, right.
Is the wording different? Is it dated?
No, well, we just had marked. We want to make sure the open response.
Right. Which I don't,
Well, they had to include 3 things in their answer. In the article, Bring You Back Salmon, the students raised salmon. Eggs, A, describe the student, how they cared for the eggs. They also needed to describe how the eggs hatched. And they also have to describe how the students knew when to release the eggs into the creek. Every single answer is within the text.
okay.
So they should be able to go back and support their answers for each one of these from what's in the text.
Now my question, are we asking them for 3 supports of each?
No,
Part?
because there wouldn't be 3 examples in the
Okay.
text for them to describe how the students cared for the eggs. There's specific answers in the text that would answer that question.
Okay, so we don't want the 3 because I know we've been talking about 3
We have
examples,
been. But
For
Right.
each of these, yeah.
this is pretty structured,
Right,
and they have to support it with information that's directly linked to the text.
Mhm.
I think that's what some of the children have difficulty with.
And I think that it being a pretest and our first
Information.
task with informational, let's see where the starting point is.
Mhm.
And then that way we
Mhm.
can really, focus our attention, okay, this is what they need. They need more exact wording to support their evidence, or we can sort of weigh it out from their
Right.
performance on the first round of it.
Do you have next steps?
Want me to do the next steps from the notes?
Yes, please.
Tweaking the Titanic articles, and the various texts on the topic. Using the We Give Books during interactive read aloud, selecting a book for that, for interactive read aloud, that will project on the big screen so that they all expose the text. The pretest unit is salmon pulled from the MCAS. We're giving that January 5th. And we decided against changing the open response. We're leaving it as is.
Yeah.
And using cotton as a close reading grade, and that will be retaught the following week, the second week back from vacation.
I also want to,
And that's during intervention.
During intervention, it will be retaught.
can we add for next steps for next meeting that we bring some resources for integrating
Oh, to integrate,
information from two sources?
Yep.
Yeah.
We
have this
have
packet, but
ours, but
we're
if we
gonna-
have, more than one or multiple, we can
Absolutely.
find the best option.
Yeah, and there
Sometimes
might
you
be
can go
different
online
levels.
too and get Time for Kids articles.
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes you can find like two that are on the same topic.
Just in case we need a couple different levels,
Yeah,
and
we
styles,
should get a few
I
levels
look on
and then
Time
it's
for
that-
nice to have them handy.
Exactly, all right.
So bring that
Also,
if
for
we
next
can-
time, I'll hand this out if you're interested, but it's just chapter 10 from genre studies, an informational text.
Oh, okay, thank you. Book that we have downstairs?
Yes.
PLA
This
has
is
like,
good, I
yep.
like this.
Yes.
What book is this?
The genre
Oh,
studies.
yeah.
That's a
Uh-huh.
good, yeah, I like that book.
And
We all
from
like
this, you might come up with some additional lessons.
that. Right.
Okay,
So maybe
So we can look
add
at this.
that to next steps.
Yep, we'll
Yeah.
take a look at this before our next meeting.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're all set, I'd just like to go over roles for next meeting, and then we can close.
Alright, so we're gonna shift one down. Mary Ellen, you designed. So next lesson we have Mary Ellen convening. Note taker is Carolyn. Shayla, you're the timekeeper. I'm reflecting. Katie, you're on plan book. And Mary Kate, you're gonna design it.
Okay. And this will be Tuesday.
Next
Tuesday, the
No,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
Oh, not there yet.
the 16th.
16th.
16.
Okay. See you ladies there?
Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm just gonna fix this up before I can email it to
Yeah.
everybody.
Okay.